Hi, I'm going to show you how to set up the fire hose. So to begin, obviously, we need to pull in the model from our file explorer, and then just ungroup everything in the location that corresponds with its name. So replicated storage, server storage, workspace, and starter player scripts. Make sure starter player scripts, not starter character scripts or starter player. It's got to be in the right spot. Now right after that, we need to do the team whitelist here. It's called Allowed Teams. If you go to the instructions, you can download the plugin, Pancakes plugin right here, and this has a team editor, comes with it. So it's a lot easier for you. You don't actually have to do any coding. So you just select the Allowed Teams script here, and then you press Use Current Selection, and now it's going to allow you to add some teams here. So I don't have any teams, so I'm just going to make one here. This is going to be team 1, save it, and then I can add it, and then I can save it. Now if I look in the script here, notice how team 1 was added. I'll add a new team. I'll call this one Meeps team, and save, add it, save it, and it'll pop up. There it is, Merge Meeps team. So you can add any team with a space in here, or if it's just like that, you can add anything in a different language as long as it is a valid name for an instance in Roblox. It can be added. That's all you got to do with the plugin now. Whitelist is done. So now, when I play the game, the bare basics of the hose is it's going to work. So I can grab an attack line like this, and I can grab a supply line, and I can attach it to the hydrant, and there you go. Look at that, perfect. You're gonna get these this orange text here. These are warnings. It's telling you that Git Collisions Group. Well, Roblox updated all their stuff. It's not how it is anymore. The way I coded it a long time ago was different than how it is now. They've changed things. It'll still work. They just want me to update it, and I'm probably not going to. So just don't worry about that. All right. Now we're going to talk about hydrants, because I imagine that you want more than one hydrant in your game, right? So if you want to add another hydrant, here's what you do. Go to Workspace, Hydrant Connections, and now you have a hydrant folder here. You also have a handler, hydrant model, outlet. Don't worry about those. Just duplicate this hydrant folder here, and now you'll see I have 2 hydrants in Hydrant Connections. Don't duplicate the handler or the hydrant model. You actually have to duplicate the whole folder, and you can just move it down the line. Now I've got 4 of these. All these hydrants are going to work. You can make different hydrant models for every hydrant. You can reposition the outlet. I think you can even add multiple outlets on a single hydrant, right? If I wanted to have multiple, like that would be 2 outlets on this one hydrant. If you want to do that, go right ahead. That is all your prerogative. So I'm just going to stick with one for now. You can obviously change the whole model, everything. None of this needs to get messed with, so just don't worry about any of that. Alright, so allowed teams, hydrants, and now we'll talk about the hoses. This comes with just blocks. You don't actually get a nozzle. So what you'll want to do is get your own hose. What I suggest for this, because I don't actually have a special hose nozzle, so don't come to me looking for one. I don't have any. But you can just go to your toolbox and look up fire hose. And I'll just take the first one I see here. Look at that. It's a nice fire hose. And I'm going to show you how I set this up with the hose system here. So I can just go down here. I want to add it. I don't want to remove any hoses. So here's what I'll do. I'll actually add a new hose outlet, because you can have multiple outlets, different hoses with each outlet, of course. So this one is going to be my fire hose outlet, and then I want this outlet to go to this new hose over here. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this hose connection folder that's inside of my fire hose here, and I'm going to paste it inside of this new hose that I have here. And then I'm just going to take this connection part right here, and I'm going to reposition it on my new hose. This is where the model here, the nozzle, is going to connect to the hose that gets laid on the ground. I'm not going to make it perfect, but you should line it up with the end of it, because that's where it's going to connect, okay? So now that is done. That's all you have to do. You just drag the folder in there and reposition that part. Now you can drag it into the fire hoses folder. But now, hold on, you're not done just yet, because I want this outlet to correspond with this hose. So what I need to do is actually open up this outlet, and it's got its own settings in here. You've got handler, and then you've got settings right here. Open this up, and notice our hose here. It's actually going game server storage dot fire hoses right here, and then it's going to go to fire hose, and I want it to go to brand slang. So I'm just going to copy brand slang, and I'm just going to paste it right in here, and now it's going to go to there. You can also, if you just start typing it, notice how it'll come up like that. You can just press tab and it'll autofill it for you. Also, some things I want to change with this hose. The hose diameter, I want to make it 0.4. The hose color, I want to make this hose purple. That's a good purple. And then the connection distance, I'm going to make it 1. Note here, it does say it right here, lower numbers may cause lag. 0.5 is a pretty good number to go with. It really does depend the scale of your game. If your game is huge and you have a bunch of people with hoses, you may want to bump it up to 0.75, maybe 1. But for conventional use, 0.5 is probably good. Okay, so that's the settings with this hose, and now I'm good with this outlet. The outlet is where you change the settings for the hose that comes out of this outlet, of course. So now I've added this hose to my collection here, so we'll test it and see if I actually did that correctly. So this should be the outlet that gives me my new hose. There it is, and it even shoots water, and it's got this purple hose which lays behind it, which is pretty crazy. And then you can see the connection distance is a little bit more longer. It's a little bit less realistic, I suppose. It's actually pretty good though for, you know, one connection distance. And then this one should be 0.5, so you can see it's a little bit better. And looks like this hose screwed up my arm, so that is something you'll have to look out for on models. They do. Some of them don't reset your character quite right with the welds. That's not something I'm going to be able to help you with, but it is something to just be aware of. Some of them aren't the greatest. These outlets, of course, can be put on a vehicle. Let me see if I can find one here. Okay, here's my test car. Pretty crazy fire truck I've got here, actually. So I can take this outlet, my new outlet actually, I want to put it in here. I can just drag it into the body of my car. This is going to work the same with FS chassis, I believe. You just put it in the body and it'll weld it. Now, I'll just leave it like that. Now I press play, and I should be able to pull an attack line from this vehicle here. Look at that. And you can do the same thing, of course, with the supply lines. And then as I drive the car, yeah, that might be something you want to look out for. For most fire trucks, of course, the where you grab the attack lines is probably going to be relatively far from where you sit. But that is something you could do, is make it so it doesn't show your prompt when you're sitting. For the supply lines, to add a model to it, it'd be the same thing as the fire hose. If you want to add another supply line, you can just take this supply hose connection and you just drag it into a new tool, just like we did with the fire hose. And then, of course, you'd update it in the supply line outlet with the settings right here, just like that. So that'll be the same. Also, I actually did forget with the plugin. When you first install the plugin and open it up, it's going to, when you first select your script and you want to use the current selection, it's going to ask you, when you press the save button, that's when it'll do it. It's going to ask you if you want to allow script injection. You need to allow that. If you don't, you can go up here to manage plugins. What is going on here? You can go to manage plugins, scroll down to Pancakes server right here, and click on it, and you've got script injection. Just make sure that that is enabled. And you'll be all good. And then it will allow you to actually, do your allowed team script. So I believe that is everything. That would be hydrants, hoses, vehicles. Yeah, so if you have any further questions, you can go ahead and open a ticket and someone can help you there.